The purpose of this video is to show you how to effectively fish 2 rods off of one downrigger. So the first step in this process is to take your first rod and begin letting out line. Now, this is going to depend on how deep you're fishing. If you're fishing more shallow, meaning less than 20 feet, you probably want to let out a little bit more line. The reason for this is when the boat goes over the fish kind of scatter, and you need time for those fish to come back. So if we don't let out enough line, we don't allow this to happen. Now, if we're fishing deeper, we don't have to let out as much line. You can get away with letting out 20 to 50 feet if you're fishing in deeper waters. Bear in mind that the more line that you let out, the better chance of getting a tangle you have. Once you've let out the desired amount of line, it's time to clip that line into the downrigger release. A downrigger release is a mechanism that takes your line down to the desired depth with your downrigger. However, when a fish strikes your lure, it can be pulled from the downrigger release and you can retrieve the fish. Now that you have your first line clipped into the downrigger release, it's time to start getting things ready for our second line. So, with the bail of your reel now open, you can begin to drop the downrigger ball, and you're only going to drop it 10 feet and then stop. Once here, I'm going to take an old downrigger clip that I've kind of dismantled for this purpose, and I'm going to clip it on the cable of the downrigger. This will serve as a stopping point when I clip my second line into a device called the shuttlehawk, which will dive down the cable until it rests on this clip. With this clip placed 10 feet above our downrigger ball, it means we are effectively fishing lines at 2 different depths, 10 feet apart. With this clip now attached to the downrigger cable, open the bail on your reel once more and drop your first line to the desired depth. The first rod is now set. It's now time to start letting out line on our second rod. After you've let out the desired amount of line, it's time to clip your line into a device called the shuttlehawk. You do this by forming a loop in the line and then pulling that loop down into the release clip on the shuttlehawk. It's important to note that as soon as this shuttlehawk hits the water at the right angle, it will begin to dive. So make sure the bail on your reel is open so that your rod does not get pulled into the water. So, with the bail of your reel open, you can go ahead and lower the shuttlehawk into the water, ensuring that the angle is such that when it hits the water, the device will begin to dive. And it will dive down the cable until it rests on the clip that we inserted earlier on the downrigger cable. Now I know what you're thinking. At this point, it seems like a lot of work and you're wondering, is this all really worth it? Well, let me tell you the beauty of using the shuttlehawk. When you catch a fish on the line that is attached to the shuttlehawk, you can retrieve the fish, and the shuttlehawk, it rises to the surface all on its own. Then, when you unhook your fish and get ready to put your second line back in the water, you can simply attach that line back into the shuttlehawk. The shuttlehawk will then dive down to the clip that we've inserted on the downrigger cable, and we're fishing 2 rods again without ever having to bring up the bottom rod that's attached to the downrigger ball. So this really is a time-saving device, and I personally think that they're worth the money. The shuttlehawk is a product of Shasta Tackle Company. I did not get paid for this video. I'm simply just sharing advice to help you put more fish in your boat.